He was able to get $97 for his book, but he also was able to get $97 because he charged $1,000 for the product. And he then took the text from the product, and in everyone's mind, it's a $1,000 product, and you're getting the ebook for $97. As my wife, she's not here. I'm not kidding. We were at our anniversary trip, Niagara-on-the-Lake. I'm always thinking business. She hates it. But we were at Niagara. If I don't review something before I ask you guys, tell you guys you should buy it, I'll tell you. And like the Black Hat link thing, I saw that thing through 10 versions of the beta. But I wouldn't launch on it at first because he still didn't get it to where I thought it was perfect. So when I mailed it, I said, there's a few problems. I was honest. I said, there's a few problems. I've been working with the program for a year. It's worth every penny, but there are a few problems. So just be aware of that. And that's just the way I do things. So Mike had not sent me the butterfly marketing course. And I said, well, I'd like to see it. I mean, I trust you. I know what he does from a business standpoint. And he's a very good marketer. But he sent it to me just as we're leaving for our honeymoon. Not honeymoon, our anniversary trip. So at dinner, I was telling my wife, I read the book. It took about 10 minutes to read the course that came with it. The software was worth $1,000, but he gave you a manual. But I told my wife, I said, you know, everyone's going to complain that this course doesn't have enough meat in it. They're not going to realize it's the software and the concept that's worth $1,000. It was worth every penny of it. But I told her at dinner that night, I said, that manual's got some things in it. I read it in like 20 minutes. I said, there's some things in that manual that are worth $1,000 alone. So by him selling the whole thing for $1,000, it was easy for him to turn it over to a $97 ebook, and he had JV partners promoting it. We're going to be launching a $197 or $249 product on ClickBank soon, and we'll see how it works. But I think it'll work fine. I don't want to tell you who my partner is yet because it kind of give away what it is, but we'll do it.
Oh, when you say to use some videos, is there any recommended? There's a lot of different ways to use videos, or different companies, or different strategies.
We use Camtasia, and that's one thing that was interesting too, is they have a 30-day trial. And my partner, I told him, I said, I'll buy a copy. He was a little, you know, he's got a wife. He'd spent $50,000 on an internet company that just didn't work out. So he's a little, you know, he said, I've already spent a lot. And I said, well, don't worry. I will send you a copy. I'll buy a copy, send it to you. I said, but in the meantime, just go to the website, download the 30-day trial. It only takes you a couple days to make the product, so you can literally make it for nothing. So Camtasia is the one that we use. We use Flash video. And Flash, if it gets too large, we tried to keep the Flash videos down to 10 or 15 minutes for web deliverability, but there's actually programs out there that you can buy that will help compress the Flash to an even smaller basis, or you could always stream it if you wanted to. So there's a couple different options. But for the video, we use Camtasia Flash because it's a small, portable, web-friendly system. So. One of the things that we talked about was how important it is to get to the rankings on ClickBank. We wanted to get to the top right away. I'm going to move quickly. A lot of these product development slides I can pass through. But one of the things we wanted to do was we wanted to get to the top of ClickBank for several different reasons. Can you see that? There we go. And there's certain factors you have to consider to get to the top of ClickBank. You have to show up on the radar system, so we talked about that. You pay out 50% or greater. They use the tools like CB Manager. They use the tools like CB Engine Pro to get to the top. Why? Because we want to influence the rankings. I also told you that the number of different people selling your product, here we go, Gravity, the number of distinct affiliates who earned a commission by referring a paying customer to the publisher products. Now there's 4 different things that they use for their weightings. They will not tell us which one is the most important, but you can infer by looking at these things that Gravity has a lot to do with it. They said Gravity is the number of distinct affiliates. So as I told you earlier, the greater the number of affiliates selling your product, the more benefit that you have for getting to the top of the categories. I don't know if distinct means you can't use your own, but we do it and it works. So someday they may say, okay, it has to be a distinct tax ID attached to each affiliate name. Right now it doesn't appear to be that way, but it could be because they say distinct right here. But the Gravity says number of distinct affiliates who earn a commission by referring customer to it. Here's the important part. This is a weighted sum and not an actual total. For each affiliate paid in the last 8 weeks, we add an amount between 0.1 and 1.0 to the total. The more recent, that's the important part, the more recent the last referral, the higher the value added. So one of the major primary components of ranking, they're telling you, is Gravity. It's one of 4 that they list. They don't tell us which one's the most important. But one of the most important features of that particular measurement is the more recent the last referral, the better. What they're saying is the momentum of the sales helps you rank higher. It's not a weighted average. It's weighted heavier toward I'm trying to slow down so you can understand me. It's weighted towards sooner rather than, to sooner rather than later being farther back. So it's important to actually sell a product and do it as quickly as possible. That's how Mike Filsaime was able to get to the top right away in one day. That's how I was able to get to the top, because it says, how recently have you made that sale? The sooner the better. So more recently the better. So that's one very important thing. So product launches fit directly into ClickBank. We didn't use a product launch. Okay? I was up north shopping for a vacation home I don't want to buy, and my phone doesn't work up there very well, and my internet connection for Verizon wasn't working. So I was calling Mark. Every other chance I got, I'd call him up and say, we're about to lose the line. Go to the affiliate directors and submit my product to the affiliate directors. He's like, what do you want to say? I said, I don't know. Just take it off something and put it in there. But the point was, we didn't have a phone. When we were doing the launch, it was the day of the launch. We didn't do a product launch. The day we went live is the day I said, okay, let's start contacting people. Let's start promoting this product, because that's the way I designed it. I didn't want to have people lined up in advance. But if you line people up in advance, that right there tells you, I wish this thing was bigger, Andrew. This page isn't in there. This is live. This is on the internet. Sorry. It's at clickbank.com/ranking.html. Very important stuff to study. If you want to manipulate something, you have to understand how it can be manipulated. This is how you do it. Sell a lot of affiliates selling your product, and if they do it all in one day or all in 1 week, you're going to be able to get your rankings up faster. And it says in the bottom here, all factors are combined and adjusted such that more recent sales activity is given greater weight. Products are not listed. Well, wait, didn't they just say that before, in one sentence before? They just repeated it again. It says, all factors are combined and adjusted such that more recent sales activity is given greater weight. So not only they tell us in number 4 here that that one particular computation is weighted heavily towards more recent sales, they say all of them in general are more weighted towards more recent sales. So having a product launch is a very good way to manipulate your rankings on ClickBank. That's not a bad saying. When I say manipulate, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You want to be at the top of the categories. That's what we want. That's how you show up in people's radars. And this is telling us quite clearly more recent sales show up. So boom, you hit them hard, you pound them fast. In the first day or two, you can literally get to the top with only selling the product for 1 or 2 days. I've proven it. Mike just did it again with his huge launch. I didn't even do a launch, and I was able to do it. Because we had a couple guys the first day, we started contacting them and said, let's do it. And boom. Fortunately, what was really nice was the first guy I'd gotten a hold of told his buddy, and it just so happens his buddy had a really big list too. And his buddy never talked to me, never saw any of my emails. We just got the first guy, and he got his buddy in the mail. So I had 2 of those guys. And then somebody else with a really big list picked it up on their list and said, hey, I just got an email from so-and-so, and it's a great product. We're going to promote it for you. And this snowball thing just started. We haven't done any launches still to this day to speak of. We just got a couple people in, got them behind us, and it started moving. So I wanted to show you that real quick. That's how important a product launch is. If you run a product launch, remember, I did this specifically to avoid product launches because I wanted to show you don't need JV partners, you don't need affiliate partners, but if you have them, or even if you go out and find them prior to the launch, that's going to make it that much more effective. And as soon as you get to the top of the category rankings, it's much easier to get more sales because all the super affiliates find you, like we talked about earlier. So this is product research. This is not going to be a long presentation. It doesn't need to be. This is very short. Product development. Well, what is product development? We already talked about how I came to find the market that I want to target. All right? That's a big part of product development. The research of product development is the big part of it. Identifying JV partners is a big part of product development. This really isn't even, I mean, we can breeze through this thing real quick because other than that, I think we all know that you can put a PDF out and develop a product. So product development really is what we've already talked about, so I'm going to try to move through this quickly. The assumptions. You have already done the research for your product, and now you are merely gathering information and getting ready to produce your product. That's what we're assuming going forward. So you've already done your research. To me, that's the biggest part of product development is research. That is by far the one thing that will help you succeed the most is by doing the research for developing your product. Don't develop the product until you've already done your research and you've identified the market to make the product in. So that's easy. We've made that assumption. We've already done our research. And this is exactly what we did. This is exactly what we did. Buy several books from Amazon.com for your chosen market. Just buy the top sellers. You can sort by best sellers on Amazon. Go to Amazon, take your target, search for best sellers, and buy the top 5. You're trying to get ideas to write your own product or get ideas of what I did in my case was I had the person writing